Nobody there.
Nobody there.
Nobody there.
Okay, we got something there. What is that? What is that? We would hear female voices up in this area. When you mentioned the female presence.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Twin Ports Paranormal. I'm Victoria Main. I'm here with guys Harley, Rick, and Steve, and we're going to talk about their adventure out at a farmstead somewhere out in rural Douglas County, and that's all I know.
It's out in the woods, and we were doing an investigation on a friend's apartment building. He had been the maintenance man out there, and we got called there because there's things happening. There used to be a church at one time, and shortly after, we got a call from him saying his buddy of his lives out in this old farm, and some crazy stuff's going on. So we decided, well, hey, let's go find out what's going on there. Of course, we're all excited, you know. We get out there and we find out that this guy that's living out there, he was going to have a couple friends move in, a guy and a gal, and take the upstairs over, because it's a big place. And they called it a night and went upstairs, and they laid down on a mattress, and they're both sitting there, and they watch this little girl come walking on a corner and climbing in bed with them, and then disappeared. Freaked them out. So they went downstairs, and they're telling this guy all about it. He says, man, this is really crazy stuff. So they slept on the couch, and daybreak came. They left, never came back to that house. So,
Yeah. They also had other things, like he said, be like furniture being moved around the floors up there. And at the time, there was no furniture. It's bare. It was
like you took a chair,
Yep.
a kitchen chair, and they would walk from one end of the house upstairs to the other and back and forth and then stop. And like Rick said, there's nothing up there. So it was pretty amazing.
So this was what this guy was telling you that led you to come out there and...
Right.
And you know, and his plan was to rent out that upper level.
Yeah.
You know, and if he couldn't even keep his friends in there for one night, you know, he wanted to find out what was going on and if
Yeah.
he could help out. And
Yeah, it was quite the house.
Yeah.
It was a challenge.
yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so let's, our first thing, you guys first, you went out and took some pictures of the exterior. How did this go?
Yeah. Well, actually, you know, when you first drive out to this place, I was telling Harley, man, you could make a spooky movie. You know, just going through this whole Callpath Road to getting in this place. It was
We're talking Friday the 13th.
yeah.
Spooky like.
I mean, it's really spooky just
Really
going
eerie.
out there.
Yeah.
And then we, you know, I went around and I snapped some pictures of the property. You know, there's other buildings and stuff like that. And in this one that you'll end up seeing is, we feel we see something in the windows there, and other people have too. I mean, you can get reflections from trees and all that kind of stuff. But in this case, we truly believe there was something in these windows.
Okay.
We
Looking
came back
down
the
at us.
second time there, Rick and I did,
Yeah.
for the cleansing. And Rick walks up here, and we both got the eeriest feeling that, man, they don't want us here. This place does not want us here.
Oh,
That's why he went up and took this picture as you know,
Yeah,
before we went in.
Well, actually, that was during
was a time.
our cleansing.
Yeah.
And you know, we did cleanse that place after we did the investigation. But when we went up to that property, I've never felt the way I felt like that in my life.
Really?
The heaviness, it was almost like pure evil that we were going to deal with in this place. Didn't want us there.
Yikes.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's show that exterior photo real quick here. And this zooms in.
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little bit
yep.
here.
And then you look in that window, both windows actually. And I'll zoom in even more.
That's what met us there.
Mm-hmm.
So was this your first trip out there?
That was the second time we went out for the cleansing after the investigation.
Okay.
Yeah, well, actually, we cleansed before we actually got the investigation over, because Rick got a feeling that something was really wrong. And he called me at the shop and says, we got to go out there. And I was ready to go right. It was noon. He said, when you want to go out there now? He said, well, no, I'm still at work. He's driving truck around the country, you know.
Well, I can tell a little bit about that. This was after the investigation, and the Monday I went to work and I drive truck, And while I'm driving, and this never happens to me, I got hit with like every single emotion that you could name all at once. And the only thing that was going through my head at that time is we got to get back there right now and get what's ever holding these spirits we believe were there. We need to get rid of that thing. And I called Harley up, and we did in that evening. But
So all of a sudden you just got this rush and you felt really weird.
yeah, I've never experienced that in my life. And I'm working. I'm concentrating on my job and I'm, and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, boom, I just get hit with this. And, I'm not saying it's like voices, but the thing that came to my immediate attention, we got to get there now. We got to get there as soon as we can. And that's what and I got a hold of Harley. And we
That's
ended up
when
going
you decided to go back out for the cleansing.
there. Yes. Yep. So, I mean, that place was, I'll be honest with you, it was one of the, I think, one of the most, I don't want to use the word evil, but something there
It was
was
intense,
not good. Yeah.
extremely intense.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Something negative.
Something
Very
impressive.
negative. Yep.
You know?
All right. Well, let's go to our first clip here. Do you want to give us a little background before we go to this? This is where there's the orb. You're standing.
Oh yeah, the orb. We had a stationary camera, and Rick and I were standing in the hallway, and the camera was based at a staircase. So basically, all the rooms were either on end or on the far side, and we're using our meters and we're checking things out, and all of a sudden, we pick up this orb. It was up behind Rick. Came around. If you look at it, you can see the center of it. So it's like something's in the center. Some orbs you can actually see faces in or whatever. But this looked really it was really kind of weird because.
And what's neat about it too is I didn't feel that there was like something behind me or anything like that. But at the time, Harley's meter was going off. And we actually stopped there and were discussing, what's going on at this meter, trying to find out what's going on. And then reviewing the cameras later is when we found that orb.
All right. Well, let's take a look at Rick's the orb. This clip.
You see it right behind him.
Yep, right there
That's
behind my leg.
where I started the thing.
And it just shot right out.
Now, there's no forced air heat in that house. Matter of fact, the heat was turned off upstairs. Everything was blocked on all ends because it was cold. And this thing just came out of nowhere and just goes. We caught him in different rooms. And
It was almost a little bit like it was hiding behind you.
Yeah, it was
A
right
little at
behind
first,
me.
and then it just went. Bloop.
yeah.
And that's when we probably were discussing what's going on with the meter
Yeah.
at that moment. And then it shot out.
But you didn't know it was there. At
I
the
didn't
time.
know it was there at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this clean. I'm not going to say any more about the orb because
It was hiding behind your posterior. Let's
Yes,
just leave
yes, it was.
there. Okay, so this is an EVP, our next clip, and this is really wild.
It's the spirit box, and we use that SB7, and we did it the way where you just had that speaker out and you set it to it where you hear that sound, and I'm asking the question, like how many spirits are here and stuff like that, and then I said I'm going to count, and give me something that when I hit the right number, but during my count, something was counting ahead of me. And this is coming out of the spirit box, so it's an amazing.
And the question on the table was how many spirits are here?
Yes,
Is that what you're counting?
That's what I'm counting. And it's not marked on there, what they're saying, but you got to listen to when I count, and listen shortly right after I say, let's say like 4 or something. You're going to hear these numbers coming
Yeah.
up.
All right. Well, let's roll that third clip there.
If I call, keep that mind up as I get to the right number. 1, 3, 4.
Yeah.
You know, it's really weird. I I thought I heard 5, it's 6 on and when I got to 6,
I thought I heard her get to 7.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought
when
I
you
heard
when
her
you
just
really
say
listen to that,
10.
she's counting ahead of me.
Yeah.
You know,
I heard
He
7. It
counts
sounded
one,
like she
he
said
counts-
10
he
right at the
counts.
end.
Yeah.
Well, see, there's two girls that got killed out there in a house fire in a neighboring farm. And we think that since that has hit, you could actually go out there and see part of a foundation.
it was burnt down.
It
Yeah.
was burnt, it was just.
And that was on the
destroyed.
adjacent property?
That was practically right across the hill.
Okay.
And you could see it from there. And I think they got attached to the building that's left there now. But there's something there that was holding him.
That's it. You know, I truly believe there's something there holding these two. There's two women. You know, or one was a child, I
Yeah.
believe, and
So an adult woman and a child?
died in this fire.
Okay.
And something was there, I believe, was keeping them there, and that's why I felt like we had to go back and try to rid of this whatever it was there
Yeah.
to free these
Yeah.
two spirits.
And when, I mean, how long ago was this fire that took place? Was it?
Ooh, what was that?
Early 1900s.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's,
And that property could have been all one big farmstead at the time.
Mm-hmm.
oh, yeah, sure, I suppose. Interesting. Okay, now you get, this next clip we have is the thermal camera, and so it shows heat and cold, and, what you guys were saying, that there was no heat up there.
Right.
No.
And Harley had told me earlier in the week when we were talking, he said, you know, we all had our jackets on and we were all cold.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't hot up there. But then the thermal starts to show some kind of weird stuff.
Which I think is weird because, you know, you feel like when you catch a spirit in a thermal, it'll be blue or
It's
dark.
supposed to be cold,
Yeah, like
right?
a cold
Traditionally,
thing.
yeah.
But I just don't understand why this was hot. You know, unless you know what thermal.
Well, let's take a look at the
Yeah.
video.
Yep.
Yeah, let's run that clip number 4 there.
Is there anybody up here with me right now?
Now, the temperature, once he gets in this room, it starts to climb. I mean, it was probably in the 60s.
Looking around me up here with my footsteps.
69, 60, it was wrong.
Hey, little girl.
And then you get
You
to
don't have
this
to be
points in
afraid
that
of
house
us.
where it jumps over 70. Like,
But you
Well,
guys
right there.
didn't feel
We're
like
here
it was
actually to
that.
help you, and we're friendly people.
now right there,
Okay,
you
right
see,
there.
that is amazing right there.
What is that?
I don't know, and it's like legs. It's like somebody sitting on the ground.
Leaning against the wall.
Yeah,
My footsteps. What was that?
that's really weird.
And mind you, these were plywood floors. And I'd walk and I'd touch areas and stuff. I couldn't even register the heat.
Entrance to
with
the
thermal.
hallway. I want you to notice, let's see if we got other footsteps. Yeah, see, this is wood
We
floors.
thought this was all good
So
and
I'm
well,
not
and we really found something there.
doing
Rick
it
steps
right
out,
underneath
goes back
the floor
in, goes
here.
around the corner, and there's another one on the
Where
opposite
am
side.
I seeing
It's
this?
weird. It literally looks like legs and a head.
Looks like there's flame shooting up from its head.
Yeah.
And when he comes back in there, you'll see the second one.
Floors.
That's the first one. The second one's gonna be, it's like it's sitting in the corner.
Yeah. And I thought it was outlets.
Right
And I
there.
checked and there's
There are
nothing there.
outlets. Just, no, there's
There's
no
the second
outlets
one.
on this floors.
It's really strange.
And again, it has similar pattern where you can see its legs and
Yeah.
all that there. I mean that, and then Harley, actually, you went up later. I
Yeah,
showed them this stuff and you went up later with your thermal.
He was gone.
Gone. None
He
of that
went
was
back up
there.
with his, I went back up with mine, nothing there.
So you tried to confirm it twice.
Right.
Yep.
See, and what I'm going to say isn't a scientific answer by any means, but in the past, what I've dealt with is it's how the spirits perceive themselves. So it makes sense that if the spirits had died in a fire, that's how they sense themselves in the house, and that's why they may be showing that way
In the heat.
with the heat.
Yep.
Because they're trying to show you that that's what happened to them. Because spirits can manipulate it. If they're pulling energy out of the air, it's going to make the air cold. But if they're trying to use their energy they've already built up to present themselves to somebody, they could have done that. Knowing you guys had that equipment, they could have shown themselves as a heat source.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
and we did also check too, there was no electrical anything in those areas, in the walls. I mean,
Yeah.
You can scan the walls.
Because
and
that'll
stuff
show on a thermal, right?
Yes,
When you
if you're getting some sort of, heat loss through your electrical.
Did you stick your hand in the spot where the thermal showed that heat to see if it felt physically hotter, like to your hand?
No, I was just walking around with the camera and I knew there was something there, but, I wanted to present it to the guys. I was up there by myself.
Yeah.
With the thermal first.
And what
thing
you're
after.
feeling in the room is not 74 degrees.
No, it was cooler than that. Like Harley said, we were wearing, like fall jackets
Yeah.
and stuff like
And
that.
we're looking at at least a 10-degree difference at some points.
Yeah.
Almost 10 degrees at some points.
Well, that's an interesting theory that, and it kind of makes sense, that these spirits might present in the last sort of physical, in a way that's reminiscent of the last physical time they had. So, in that case, it would be warm instead of cold, which is really just weird to think about because it literally looked like the shape of a person sitting on the floor with their legs stretched out in front of them, and then their back against the wall and their head kind of leaning against the wall. That was just really weird.
Yeah.
But 99% of the time, they're going to show as a cold source
Right.
because they're pulling the energy out of the air, which is making the air temperature cooler.
Yeah.
But this does happen on occasion where you get a heat source, and it can't really be explained. But all the research I've done, that's kind of my theory on
Yeah.
how that is.
Interesting. Well, it makes sense to me, I guess, from a logical, perspective. But let me see this last one. This is wild. Now, is this is the spirit box, right?
This actually came out of the recorder.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
an EVP.
when we set up an investigation, we'll lay recorders out in many different rooms and just keep them going all night through the investigation. And this is actually amplified pretty high. I was in the kitchen area of this place, kitchen living room area, and I'm asking questions. This response came from a recorder that was down the hallway on the furthest bedroom that was in this building, and that's where we received the answer. But it's been amplified, so you can hear it. To me, this is one of my favorites of EVPs. It's sort of funny that when I play it to people, they go, "Well, I hear something." I'm like, "You can't hear it." It's like, to me, it's just clear as day, And you play it a few times or whatever, you'll definitely hear it.
Yeah. Yep. I thought it was pretty clear.
Yeah, and this relates back to, we believe, possibly one of the women that died in that fire. We got a response. I asked, who was here with me, and this was the response.
Oh, that was the question you asked.
Yes.
Oh my.
I said, "Can you tell me your name?" or whatever it was, but you can faintly hear me say that at the very beginning.
Yeah.
But it's like, "Can you tell me your name? Who's here?"
Okay.
And this is the response.
All right. Well, let's go to that last EVP then.
They even have an accent. That's
Isn't
pretty
it
cool.
amazing how long that is?
That's just wild.
And it's clearly a woman's voice. And, just the way she
It's
sounded.
clearly the older lady.
Yeah,
Yeah, the grown-up voice.
Yep.
yeah.
Um,
And, I don't know if that EVP had a lot to do with the way I felt on Monday, and why we had to go back. But I just truly felt that there was something there keeping them there.
It would be interesting to do, I know there's software that does like voice analysis, so you can compare. it'd be interesting to take the counting voice that came through on the spirit box and have an
Match it.
analysis done and compare it to what came through on that EVP.
Oh, yeah, both
I
female.
would, I
Because-
would almost guess that the one counting was the little girl,
You think so?
because she
I
was
think so.
playful.
Yeah.
Well, and it was it felt like it was a higher pitch. Like
Yeah,
when
that
I
was an
heard-
old gruff type voice.
Yeah, that was an older woman, you know, a grown-up woman's voice. But on the counting one, I felt like I heard a little 7,
Yeah,
like it was a kid's voice.
yeah, it definitely sounded like a child being playful.
So maybe that can be your next purchase when you guys are out there.
Yeah,
Some kind of, because I know that
check into
software's
that.
out there.
Yeah.
So then you could match up these voices. So you guys, okay, so you know, there's indications that there was a child spirit there and an adult woman, which makes sense in the context of the fire that happened. But what do you have any, what's your theory on what this more negative presence was?
Well, it didn't like us.
I know it didn't like us. As a matter of fact, when we did the cleansing, I'll let Harley tell a little bit about that. When we went in, it was just me and him. And when you went in, I go upstairs and I always say what I want to say, you know, before the cleansing to what's ever there. And in the meantime, Harley's setting up, getting ready. Tell a little bit about that.
We were getting ready. Normally, we prepare ourselves with the armor of God, a prayer we use before we go in. We didn't do that this time. We went in, and Rick was down in the kitchen, a couple steps down. I was up top, and I started saying the prayer. And as I'm saying this prayer, I got this feeling in my chest like something got a hold of my heart, and it's just crushing. And I was pausing in between the lines till I got this prayer done. And once prayer was done, it went away. It stopped.
And mind you, at the same time, we had the K2 meter sitting on the table, and it was going crazy during the whole time he was setting up for this
And
cleansing.
we were getting ready to do the saging. Rick went up there, and he always has it. Love this guy. He goes up there and tells him, "Hey, you know, if I catch you around and I come around your direction, I'm gonna be looking for you." This is what he tells us.
I tell him you're not going to want to meet me on the other side. 'Cause I'll drag your whatever.
Yeah. So I'm down there, and I got a big bundle of sage, and I got it going, and this meter's sitting on this stick right here, and it's just pegging out, you know. And so I put the sage forward, and pretty soon, you know, the meter stopped. I pulled it back, and I'm sitting there holding this thing, and it went out. So I relit. I really torched it this time, and it's like something was right here in front of me. And that meter is just going nuts. And I says, well, you know, you think this is all well and good, but now it's our turn to play. And I ran the sage forward, and it's got all cloudy and everything, and the meter quit. So I knew that we had somebody there who didn't really like us.
And I knew you went through some, you know, issues there with what was happening to you, and I asked you too. I said, you know, are you up to this? Because we got to do it, you know.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
he
yeah,
said he would.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We went up. We hit that place inside out. We did the grounds all around the house.
The property, yep.
Yep.
Our own vehicles.
And our vehicles, everything we did, and that's, you know, in the basement, the garage door open up in the basement, everything. And I told Rick, I says, you know, I had my back broke when I was in my early 30s, and I always had chronic pain, always. It always hurt. And when we did this sage and we did this cleansing of that house, I told Rick, I says, I'm pain-free right now. I actually feel good. We were sitting there talking about how great it was that we could actually get these feelings, and, you know, it's like we really did something out there, and we did. We cleared it out. But we got back to the road, about a quarter mile down the road, we got back to the asphalt. I was talking about how good I feel. Just as soon as we hit the asphalt and got on that road, it all came back just like that. I was like, oh.
And the amazing thing is too, is like right now with the owner, he said the place has never been so peaceful.
Yeah.
It's great. you
So
know.
that was going to be my next question, actually.
Yes.
Have you talked to this guy and gotten kind of the follow-up on this? And
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's no more movement upstairs. There's no chairs going around or nothing, you know, it's quiet. It's,
The air is a whole lot lighter. It's
yeah.
it's amazing. I still, you know, I still think about that feeling that I had when I went to that property. That first time with the cleansing, it was like, this ain't good. You
Really?
know? Oh man,
That's
It-
really
the
I
way
wasn't-
you felt. It was like
I wasn't
amazing.
introduced to the cleansings until I joined these guys.
Yeah.
And not being a real high on religion, I am a big believer in what we do with the cleansings, because when it's done, you literally feel light as a feather.
Yeah.
And just thinking about it, I'm getting goosebumps, because it's an amazing feeling that you don't feel. It's better than any high. You just feel amazing. Your body feels great. Your mind feels clear, and you just can't help but smile.
And that's when you know it worked.
Yeah.
You know, when you walk out of this and you feel that way, yeah, you know, it worked.
Well, and you know, it sounds like there was, Harley was getting some feelings of resistance to the cleansing.
Oh yeah, it was not. It was not. It's, you know, this is probably, I think it's one of our best investigations. It is. You know, it's right up there, right at the top as far as I'm concerned. It's not just because we got it, we did it, we cleansed it. It's the idea that we were exposed to so much more activity in this house that was affecting us directly than a lot of the other places. And it was constant. It was letting you know that, hey, it's not happening. Well, yes, it is happening. You know, this is the feeling you get. You're not going to go. We're going to move you.
You know, and what's amazing too is the you know, Harley and myself. Now we have Steve involved in this stuff, and just knowing that these guys have my back, I have their back, and the protection that we use among us. You know, great guys. You got to all believe and you know, truly get involved in this to make it work. If you don't,
Yeah, you kind of got to be in 100%.
you got to be in 100%, or I don't believe it's going to work at all. And these guys are amazing. You know, they do well.
Well, it sounds like it worked this time. And I mean, I think it always works, but I think maybe this time you were able to feel it more directly
Oh yeah.
that it worked, which is cool. So
Yeah.
success.
An amazing place. Tell you that.
So, just real quick before we go, what do you think our next episode's going to be?
You know, I was talking to Harley. I says, you know, we got some more cases we want to bring up front, but we do a lot of, even on our past ones, that we've had some amazing EVPs that we weren't able to show. You know, we're limited.
Right.
And why can't we do like best of our EVPs? We can describe a little bit of the case, and you're going to have a lot that you're going to be amazed with.
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. We can do a best of.
There you go.
So we're
I
10,
think
this is
that'll
our
be our
10th
next
episode, so
yeah.
our next one will be the best of the EVPs.
EVPs.
Oh, we're getting up to the last of our season, more or less, of the year. So, you know,
Why not?
leave something. Go out with a bang. Come in with something good.
All right. Sounds like that's it for this time, but we'll see you next time on Twin Ports Paranormal.
See you there.